Hey guys, Brian over here again for another video, and today we're working with a special truck. It's not a new Tacoma, we're working with a classic in the tried and true second generation. We're working on a 2015 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-road. Let's check it out. So if you know anything about the Toyota Tacoma, you know that the first Tacoma that made it to 1,000,000 miles was actually from the second generation. And here's what it looks like in the flesh. This is an all original 2015 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-road with the manual transmission. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the exterior of this truck. I'll talk about the way it drives, because I definitely took this one out for a spin. I've been a stick shift driver for a long time. I'll talk about the engine and transmission, and then we'll work our way inside. But without taking too long to get going, let's talk about the outside of this truck. So the first dead giveaway that it's a second generation is the headlights. It has a completely different look. It shows its age. Things have been the same for a long time in this generation, and they still deserve to be spoken about. You know, the second generation was around for a long time, and the third generation is just about, I want to say, 3/4 way through its course, but you get that classic Toyota truck look. On the grille, we have some ventilation here in different ways. So we have like a kind of like a fake plastic mesh here and direct air on the top and on the bottom. Just a regular, non-painted bezel for the fog light. A lot of the guys upgrade the fog lights. But from a side profile, it's a completely different shape than the third generation, which is the one that gets all the love lately. Things are a little bit more rounded. It still looks like a small Toyota truck. And this is the access cab, which means you have like a flip back door with some fold down seats. They're very temporary for kids and small people or dogs. You can even leave them flipped up and put your tools in the back. But you get the longer bed with the access cab. So from the side, you can see it definitely looks like a smaller truck. If you were to compare this to a access cab third generation, you would definitely feel like the third generation is more of a mid-sized truck. Onto the wheels, whoever owned this before, it's got about 65,000 miles on it, I believe. But we'll check when we get inside. They took great care of the wheels. I'm a little bit of a wheels guy. I try to take great care of my things. And let's take a peek inside of here. Not too bad. It's a northeastern truck. But back to the exterior. So yeah, it's more of a rounded look. The dark blue is really nice. I think what they called this was nautical blue. I could be wrong. There are people that know a lot more about the previous generations than me. So if you guys are watching, chime in and let me know. Is that the name of the color? Classic TRD off-road badging here, which you still get on the newer trucks, just slightly updated, but the font is the same even on the new ones. And you got that little bit of a silver sparkle like you have on my truck. I'm the owner of a 2021 TRD Off-road, so I had to do a video on this one. Taillights are a lot different. We have some LED incorporation. I kind of wish that on the new trucks, because you have that big C shape on the third generation, I wish that C shape that you get on the third generation was all bright red LEDs, but you can't have everything. But yeah, here's your reverse light, your signal, and some LEDs for the brake. Very nice, and some chrome. Chrome's been a thing with the Toyota trucks for a while. Then we have our spare underneath and our tow package. It does have the backup camera, by the way, which is nice. Yep, it's not. So I'm gonna go a little easier. It's not a self-dampening tailgate, which I didn't think it would be, but it kind of slipped out of my hand. This one was definitely used. You gotta use the bed. But look, that looks familiar, or at least to me it does. That's nice little storage there, and we got another storage over here. Let's put this back up. Yes, it doesn't look great if it's a pavement princess, but this one was not. This one got used, and that's okay. Moving on to this side at an angle. I mean, it's got that look to it, it looks like a Tacoma. It is. And I think it's really cool that it's stick shift. And if you watch the review of my 2021 TRD Off-road in Army Green, I opted for the automatic for a couple different reasons, but this thing is really fun to drive. So let's pop the hood and see what's underneath. So here it is. Well, first of all, unlike the 4Runner, I had to push this heavy hood up, which things did not change for the 3rd generation. It's still heavy, whatever. And I had to get the prop up. So we don't get the struts like the 4Runner people. Let me know what you think of that. It's the 4.0 V6, not the 3.5 2GR FKS that mine has. We have the 4.0. It's the 1GR FE. You take care of these engines and they run and run and run. And as you can see, if you've watched any of my other videos, the design is almost identical. We have the air intake system. This is just a dust cover, our 3 spark plugs, both fuel rails. I really like that the oil filter is very easy to get to, and you even have this lip here because when you take this off, all that oil that comes out, it's gonna go in there and it's gonna go right back so it can drain out the bottom. I wish they did this on the 3rd generation. I wish. Maybe they'll bring that back. Probably not. It's more of an exposed filter from underneath with a special tool on the 3rd generation, which I'm not a fan of. But everything else is very similar. Batteries right here, easy to get in and out. We got my fuses, brake system. Coolant reservoir looks almost identical, so you can check your coolant from the back. All the hoses are almost in the same spot. Things are very easy to check. Power steering fluid. This is about half the size of my washer fluid jug on the 2021, but still looks like it's a decent size. Things are generally easy to get to. Got my pulley system tucked away in there above the oil filter. And if I want to upgrade these headlights to a nice LED or HID, it's super easy to get back here and just twist that and pop it out to replace the bulbs. So yeah, it's the 4.0, the one they talk about, the one that goes, the dinosaur. Mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, which I found this transmission a little easier to use than the not 5-speed, I'm sorry, 6-speed, than the 6-speed on the 3rd generation. I just felt like it was a little less clunky, but that's open to interpretation. You know, we all interpret things different, but maybe it was because of the size. I don't know. Maybe it was placebo effect. I kind of liked the stick shift 6-speed in this a little bit more than the 3rd generation, but who knows? Maybe I just miss driving stick. So there it is. Let's get inside of this thing. All right, so onto the passenger side. Here's what we look like. I mean, this just screams old school Toyota. You know, that gray door card with those deep cylinders for bottle holders. Clipping on the passenger like on the new ones. Big glove box. Where'd the books go? I don't know. We got to get some books. Just a classic gray interior. And you have your lever here that opens you up for the access cab. So let's scale it back. Let me get this out of the way. This is distracting. I gotta wear this inside. There we go. I mean, I could go back there. I'm 5'10". I'm average height. I'm not happy back here. You know, I'm a little claustrophobic out this small window. Yeah, I got my little handle on my cubby, but I don't want to be back there. I feel like if you got a little team of dudes, or gals doing construction work or quick jobs, renovations, you're doing landscaping. Yeah, you can run back there on a half an hour, 45-minute trip to go do a job. But I'm not sitting back there for 2 hours on the way down to the beach. I'm not sitting back there during an off-roading trip in my friend's truck. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. 6 foot and up, you're not going to go back there at all. But here's what it looks like. These flip up. A lot of things are similar here. The storage is not as wide, and it doesn't go as far out. It's as deep, but it doesn't go as far out as on the 4-door, at least for the 3rd generation. Simple cloth. I wonder why they did cloth on an off-road, but it is what it is. No ventilation in the back, which is common. Cup holders in the same spot. Interesting place for the buckles, which is cool. And then this will actually fold down with a lever here. And I'm wondering, why didn't they do the lever here? Probably because of manufacturing, and these are identical because it's on that side right there. But anyway, comes right down. Now you get a little more visibility, and then boom, boom, goes right down. And it's actually a manual, not electronic. So you got to pull over or have somebody do that for you while you're driving. No clips back here, so these might clack around while you're driving, but when you're driving a Taco, you don't care about those little noises. All right, on to the most important seat we go. So here's what it looks like when you own a 2015 Toyota Tacoma and you open up your driver door. Here's a little note here about the differential lock and when to use it with some specific instructions. This one was made in the USA. Pretty cool. And they recommend 29 in the front, 32 in the back. Have a manual seat. That's my lumbar support back there. That'll make the cushion come out a little more. Here's my recliner. And there's a bar underneath, so no electronic seat. This clips in very similar to the third generation. This little clip is just a lot smaller. Here are my pedals. Got my tire pressure set with the hood latch. Little storage. Wish my truck had that. That's pretty cool. This is to turn off the roll sensing airbags, the roll sensing curtain airbags, if I'm doing some off-roading. Really cool. My truck doesn't have that. If you push this, you don't need to press the clutch to start it up, as long as you're in neutral. Then I got my track control, mirror adjustments, fog lights, the rear differential lock, and that's for the outlet. And then I have the little scrolly thing here for the brightness of the gauge cluster. But let's jump inside this truck, start it up, and talk a little bit more about the inside. So here's what it looks like in the cockpit. So on the third generation, if you get the automatic, you have two cup holders here, which is nice, but they give you plenty of cup holders over here. And instead of there being a button here, it's actually there and it flips this way, which is interesting because I don't have to awkwardly do this to get inside. It goes like that and I can get in. However, if the passenger wants to get something for me while I'm driving, which my girlfriend is usually in the passenger seat with me, yeah, she rides everywhere I go. If I say, hey baby, grab me the pocket knife, or grab me the bird collar, or grab me the charging cable, or grab me the tissues, or grab me the floss picks, she would have to awkwardly reach over, open this up, and kind of dive over and get all up in my space to get in there while I'm driving and paying attention to the road. There's my carpeted bottom. I'm not seeing any extra charging down here. In the third generation, you got USB and USB-C. Not a big deal, because I got the charging right over here. So there's my auxiliary, which the third generation won't have. A-track. 2 flip down doors on my 12-volt cylinders for accessories. And a simple turn dial system. Not going to be digital like the third gen, but we have the fan speed here, easy to read and see. Temperature, let me tell you, the heat is a nosebleeder. This is hot right here. I couldn't even imagine there. If you want to take this through the Arctic tundra, get yourself a second gen, because I don't know what it is. The heat in these is hot. And then I have the air direction right there. Everything is very easy and legible, simple. Some people call it boring, but I'm going to say it. They don't get it. They don't get the utilitarian tank design of these. This I like. This just screams heritage right there. Let me get the lighting right. Boom, look at that. Tacoma. Got the hazards right there. Each vent has an individual control, because in the third gen you got those twisty turny locking vents. I can adjust the direction here or shut them down like that, which is nice. Yeah, it's already getting way too hot. This is amazing. Turn dial 4-wheel drive, which is in the similar spot to where it is in the third gen. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive high, and low 4, which you got to go into neutral to get into low, but it's 4 high on the fly. 4 low, go slow. Simple stock for the headlights. I have off, daytime running lights, parking, and on. I'll go back to DRL. Old school, simple, I love it, easy to read, deep tubular gauges. And at nighttime, those probably look really cool. Nothing overcomplicated. It's like a simple watch, you know? You look at it, it works, you go do what you're doing. It's not made to look fancy. So I have my fuel, I have my temperature, I got my speed and my RPMs. What else do I need to know when I'm whacking out these 6 gears, going up a mountain, you know, merging on the highway, cranking second and third gear? I don't need fancy stuff here. I don't need holograms and screens and MIDs and all that stuff. I'm in a truck. But look at this. This looks familiar. That classic repeat steering wheel that's on every Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. And I think this color is almost the same as the color on mine. I think mine might be a tiny bit darker, but look at that. It's pretty much the same. This is slightly different. I think they took this and put it over here on mine, but yeah, almost identical. After 64,000 miles and change, the leather is really smooth and broken in, and it feels nice. Can't imagine how many turns have been turned on this leather, but it held up very well. I have my stock here for the wipers with the intermittency change. Almost identical to the 3rd generation. But you know what? You get a grab handle for the driver, unlike the 3rd gen, and it pops out in this direction. So the comment I made about the review on my personal truck where it would go this way, I might have been wrong. Were they just being lazy in the 3rd gen? Because it would have been cool to have this. And I have it on the passenger side. Simple, non-automatic dimming, so it's the old school flip switch. No big deal. One less electronic to break. 2 sunglass cases, and I have 0 because I have the crawl control. But you don't need crawl control in a manual because you are the crawl control when you have the manual. But 2. One for the pilot, one for the co-pilot, and touch lights, which I like. I like to touch the lights to turn them on. Lights inside where the mirror is. And you get the little slicker slider for when the sun is in the the awkward spot. It's got the backup camera, so if I go over, got that right there, which is nice. I love backup cameras. I'm old school, but let me tell you, this comes in handy. When you're gonna park against a light pole, you put it right on the red and you're good to go. And your parking brake is different. You have a hand on the 3rd generation, but this one, there's a little button right here on this side. What I do is, I give it a pull with the button, and I, boom. So I like twist it and put it back in, and now I'm released. And I just simply pull it without pressing the button to put it on, and I can let it sit in neutral. Let's talk about the screen, and then we'll wrap up the video. Alright, so it is a touchscreen, and you'll see some of the themes here are very similar. Instead of the turn buttons being on the bottom with the hard buttons going up, it's the opposite. So you have the dials up top with the buttons going down. The previous owner turned the beep off, but you can make it beep when you press things. I can't turn music on because of copyrights, but you have a home screen just like you would in the new truck. In fact, this all looks very similar to the new ones. CD player, which is nice. I had to get rid of, I want to say, 150 CDs and put all of my albums on my smartphone. But if you're still old school and you're rocking out the CDs, you got them right there, so you can put them in and jam out to your albums. There's nothing like having songs that go into each other. If you didn't start off on CDs, you don't understand the power of an album. The songs, they just go into each other. For the window, it's not an auto up. I gotta hold it. There goes the Chevy. So I gotta hold them. It's not auto up, auto down. In 2015, you didn't get it, but you have auto down. Something. You get pulled over? I'm sorry, officer. It is what it is. I'm spoiled in the 3rd generation. I shouldn't be, but I like the little features that it has. So yeah, very easy to see. I'll show you the backup camera again real quick. Boom. I'm getting the hang of that. I'm gonna drive it through the lot and we're gonna wrap it up. All right, so buckled up, first gear, feather the clutch like it's nothing. I've driven stick for 15 years, so it's smooth. I gotta say, the 3rd generation just feels a little bit more clunky. I think it does. I don't know. It's Probably placebo effect. But I'm not taking it on the road. I just wanted to show you. There's third. Easy. Do a little rev match. That was close enough. I could rock one of these out. Hit the bump. No problem. The suspension is not as soft and buttery as your new off-road, but it's doable. I would imagine going off-roading in this one is going to be a little bit more on the bumpy side. But when you're off-roading in a Tacoma, you're not here to complain about bumps. You're here to have a good time. You know, you're here to get out there in the woods, get away from civilization, forget your problems, crack a cold one if you drink, eat a sandwich if you eat, and move on. So let me park this thing and we're gonna wrap it up. This video is a calling to all the second generation Toyota Tacoma owners. Let me know what you thought of the video. My third generation guys like me, I also want to know what you think. Would you consider owning one of these? And I really want the people that own a second generation Toyota Tacoma to give me your feedback and tell you how the truck treated you, what you did to make it last long, if there were any issues that you had, and overall what you think. If you've driven the second generation and the third generation or owned both, your feedback is invaluable to me. So you already know I read the comments. Comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.